Okay, welcome back to the Investigative Journal on this July 4th, 2016 day on our calendar. I'm your host, Greg Anthony. You're listening to FirstAmendmentRadio.com. You can listen to my show every evening, Monday through Friday, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's on FirstAmendmentRadio.com. They also play the show at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. And if you can't get it at either of those two times, go to my long-standing website, arcticbeacon.com. Okay, I wasn't planning to do a 4th of July show, and I changed my mind at the last minute because I think there's some important information I want to get out regarding a huge gathering scheduled for 7/16. That's in a few days. And somebody sent me this video, which really gets into a lot of different numbers and dates and signs and symbols. And I think if you listen to my show, you understand that the Vatican-led New World Order, aka the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them, the cult, the satanic cult that's controlling this world right now, deals in signs and symbols and numbers, and a lot of things happen on similar days on numbers that are important to them, like 777, 33, etc., 666, etc. This video, you have to listen to it. It's 42 minutes long, and the reason I'm going to play it is because I don't want you just to listen to it once. I want you to go listen to it 2 or 3 times. But before I get to that, and a little note from a listener that sent me this so that I do play it, I wanted to mention this just on this Independence Day. What's really important to know about freedom, and everybody's professing freedom on this day. There is no freedom when you're talking about man's world and man's law. Take it from someone who's went to law school, believed many times in my life that this was the way to truth and justice, and boy was I wrong. But the point I'm getting at is if you adhere to man and man's law, there are only degrees of freedom. You're enslaved in all of them. Now, for example, if you start out at the lower level, which is complete bondage and slavery, and people in America look and say, look how free we really are. But little do people know in America that when the 14th Amendment was passed, we all became slaves to this system, although presented to us in a different manner, kind of like a nice birthday cake that has a bomb inside of it. So remember that. When you're talking about freedom, man's law in man's world and the governments created from the beginning of time will not provide you any type of freedom. Now, a personal experience that I had before I understood a lot of the things I'm talking about these days is when I lived overseas as kind of an expatriate. And to give you an idea what freedom really is, I lived in a country that, like Italy, which supposedly is not as free as America. However, personally, I felt freer there. Because in a sense, I was not tied to that country in any way, shape, or form. The chains were there, not on me. Oh, I mean, I was a part of it, but I could always divorce myself in my mind from it. So I felt freer. That's just an aside. The whole point I'm trying to make is, in man's world, you'll never find it, because the only way you will find freedom is when you find the truth. The truth, that little statement, the truth will set you free, goes far beyond anything that man's law and the worldly governments have created in the world. And there you look for a personal relationship with your Creator. Freedom lies only there. And let me tell you, this dovetails into, let me just read this email I got from a listener. Greg, you've got to watch this video, this link above. You've got to play this on your show before this date. Okay. This man gets into dates, etc., that are linked to the event on 7/16/16, when the Pope is supposed to speak to Washington, D.C. from the Vatican. He ties this to Pope Innocent III, that was the cruelest pope with the Inquisition, as you know. The beginning of this video, they say they are looking back at the future. That would be the Inquisition. The Inquisition is back, which that we know, but many do not. This guy is good to watch. Now, what she's talking about is this event that's being, well, they're claiming, and then we talked about this when the Pulse nightclub event occurred. And the reason we talked about it is there's a huge Christian meeting, supposedly, to millions gather at the Washington Mall. It's called Together Meet 2016 Jesus. And if you look at the groups that are organizing this, they all have Masonic ties. And the Pope is speaking. This is going, and they're bringing young people, the millennials, all there. And I believe it is one place I will not be. I'm not saying there's going to be any kind of violence or any kind of terrorist attack during that day, which is a possibility. But it is a huge, huge deception. It is a huge, huge gathering, an occult gathering from the people at the top, deceiving all these people. And although you'll hear great things being said, there's so much more behind this meeting. And when we say we're looking back at the future, that's what they're talking about, the Great Inquisition. And why are they gathering all these people there? Supposedly in the name of Jesus. Very strange. And this video I'm going to play will really highlight all of these signs and symbols and numbers and things that will be a little bit difficult to kind of figure out here if you're not watching the video. But I wanted to lay the groundwork. Maybe my radio show can get to you so you can go get it. And you can find it at just Google Together 2016, the Elite's main event, done by a guy called Osiris. And it's the Together meeting scheduled at the National Mall. Millions of people, 1 million people are supposedly there, going to come. One of the organizers is a group called Pulse, which is, I think, a deceptive Christian organization. Interesting that it was the Pulse nightclub that was used as a false flag event. And you know, someone sent me something that said, you know, the business license on the Pulse nightclub expired in 2013. So there's a possibility they weren't even in business. In fact, that place had 11 parking spaces. You don't have 11 parking spaces for a club that can handle 400 or 500 people. Interesting. I don't even think they were open during that period of time. But anyway, that's how gullible people will be. But let's go and listen to what this man has to say. And he does tie it to Pope Innocent at the end of the video. There's so many dates and things here that make, boy, I'll tell you, if you know how the elite communicate, this kid's got a point. Let's listen.
Put together a little video here on this Together 716 event. The National Mall is supposed to be the 1 million person, millennial young person gathering about Jesus. Been noticing a number of kind of strange things about this event. So I'm going to put those together here for you. We're going to start with the economist cover. Of course, you've already had a number of things take place. You got the backwards rainbow flag. You've got Francis here with Kirill with their meeting back in February. You've got David Cameron here kind of facing us from the left, exit stage left, so to speak. And you've got this balloon, of course, missing the UK. So what I've got my eye on here is this guy. So we see the gun kind of pointed at his face from Bin Laden. And you've got the backwards hat, sort of sideways, sort of symbolizing the youth of this guy. You've got the unicorn on his head. His face is kind of blocked off by a couple of numbers here in this world population spiral. So a few things to work with there. You've also got this book, The Future, with the little eyes kind of looking back at you, which there was a Super Bowl commercial this year. I've seen a couple of videos on that, but this book reminded me of that. It was the Liam Neeson LG commercial. I'm going to play that.
There is a revolution coming.
Excuse me? What do you mean?
The future is staring back at us.
The future is staring back at us, right? Kind of like that book.
Like a perfect picture of glass.
There's your Ouroboros. Again, kind of looks exactly like this. Oh.
And this future, it must be protected.
What's it got to do with me?
Look.
What is it?
It will change everything.
It will change everything. So you have another connection to this event. Their little slogan, Jesus changes everything.
Let's
Skip forward here a little bit. It's just the TV stuff.
Who are you? Oh, come now. I've already told you. The future is staring back at you.
So there you go. He said it twice. The future is staring back at you. You got this book, The Future, looking right back at you in the form of a book, because the future is already written. That's what they're telling you. So you got that. Again, the guy with the unicorn on his head, gun pointed at his face. Young guy. Now the unicorn, I believe in this case, is symbolic of Jesus Christ. I'll show you this. Hunt of the Unicorn tapestry. It's a series of 7 tapestries dating between 1495 and 1505. The reason I think this is important, showing us why that unicorn represents Jesus. You had John D. Rockefeller, bought them in 1922, and you can actually look up the video of David Rockefeller describing these tapestries and explaining this concept where Christian writings interpret the unicorn and its death as the passion of Christ. The unicorn has long been identified as a symbol of Christ by Christian writers, allowing the traditionally pagan symbolism of the unicorn to become acceptable within religious doctrine. The original pagan myths about the hunt of the unicorn referred to an animal with a single horn that can only be tamed by a virgin. Christian scholars translated this into an allegory for Christ's relationship with the Virgin Mary. So there you go. Rockefeller, Rothschilds, of course the Rothschilds financed the Rockefellers to get into the oil business. It's about as close as you're going to get here with this being a Rothschild-owned publication, The Economist. About as close as you're going to get to the Rothschilds themselves telling you what this unicorn represents. So Osama bin Laden shooting the man with Jesus on his head, a young man. And then, of course, you got these numbers here. You sum these two, the ones that are covering his face, 8.1, 8.6, you get 16.7. So it's just like our 7/16 date. And of course, they pulled the same shenanigans last year. Back in 2015, right? You have the 11.5 and the 11.3. You scramble those up. You get the date of the Paris attack. So, this kind of thing is nothing new. So you add, of course, the 1-6 and the 1-6 to get you 7. 7, 7, 7. A very important number to the occult. You think you know. 7, 16, 16. Of course, 7, 16 sums to 23. And all the individual numbers of this date, 7, 1, 6, and then 2, and the 0, 1, 6, that sums to 23 as well. The same 23 symbolism with 9/11, the Titanic sinking, a number of other events in history. They love to flash this number 23 in all of their events. So this is only one of the 3 7/7s in this month. Of course, you got 7/7, and then you have 7/25, 7/25. That's the 7/25 is the date of the Democratic Convention. Of course, the coronation of their chosen next president, Hillary Clinton. And then you have 7/7, which I think is an interesting date on that 7/7. So they're not wasting any of these 3. They're going to be building, or I should say opening, the Noah's Ark. Massive $90 million Noah's Ark attraction opening on July 7th. So, why they felt the need to spend $90 million to open up the biblical kind of sign of the apocalypse here on 7/7. Let's just leave that one up to you. Again, no sign of Jesus or any religious Christian symbolism here. You just have the Ouroboros. You got this strange, the 666 fingers, the hand signs down in the corner of the page. Now apparently they have this just for this reason, just to show you that they're going to have sign language interpreters. This ASL, this link is on every page. You see these 666 hand signs. I've never seen anything like that on a website for any kind of event, so I thought that was pretty weird. So let's take a look at some of the organizations behind this. The Reset Movement. What are they resetting? So you got a few of these. Those are all these NGOs. They all kind of just look the same. Awakening USA, Awaken. You get this. Awakening America. These guys. It's Awakening America. Come on. Join the 9/11 prayer movement. So just pushing the 9/11 narrative. Just to show you who these people are. You got Billy Graham, long been associated with the Freemasons, Bohemian Grove. Billy Graham, Masonic handshakes and hand signs. There he is. Here's Billy Graham again here, pushing the Orlando hoax. So just like the 9/11, these groups are right in bed with the Freemasons, the NWO groups, putting together these hoaxes, these false flags. They are all one and the same. reset page. Take a look at this. Look at this guy, Nick Hall, supposedly putting this on. Actually, I think he's from the Pulse movement. So you got this Pulse movement now. Of course, this reminds you of the Pulse nightclub shooting. Exactly 33 days in between this, the Pulse nightclub and this particular Pulse event. Voice of a generation, yeah. Age 33, of course. So you have the link of 33 days between Pulse and this Pulse. Now we also had this Loretta Lynch. She kind of gave you the same sort of clue connecting these two events. So let's listen to her.
It can be so tempting to give in to cynicism and despair. It can be so easy to believe
Talking about Orlando.
that our progress has been an illusion, that one step forward will always be met with two steps back. But I want us to remember and hold on to this. The victims of this attack were living in an America that had newly recognized their fundamental right to marry. They were living in a country that had draped the White House in a rainbow flag, and our land had declared that love is love. And remember this, and know this, and hold on to this. We are still that country, far from dividing us, as terrorism aims to do. Let us show the world that this attack has brought us together in support, has brought us together in solidarity, has brought us together in love.
There you go. She says this attack has brought us together. The Orlando attack has brought us together. Says it 3 times. You can see she kind of slowed down for you. Said it real deliberately. Of course, there's a meaning behind that, saying something like that 3 times. See that a lot with prophecy. The prophetic repeating of 3 times, repetitive prophetic themes. Threefold theme in regard to circularity of significant personalities. Huh? Threefold circular fashion, prophetic events. So she's giving you that clue 3 times. Now this would be the first 7/7 attack. Of course, we had the 7/7 bombings back in London. Now, 2005, so 5 and the 2, 7, 7, 7, 7. So now what's interesting about that date in regards to our 7/16 Jesus event with 7/7/05, 7/7/16, 11 years and 9 days. So there's your 9/11 connection with these 2 dates.
Okay, we're going to take a break. Come right back with the second half of this.
Russell's.
And we will do that in 3 minutes on the Investigative Journal.
The book of Revelation says, "The spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ." This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today, so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening. Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.
Okay, we're back on the Investigative Journal, and I'm going to get right back to this video because we're up against a time limit here, and I want to try to get it all in, and the last few minutes are important, so we'll get right back to it.
Back on 322. So we'll enter that date. You got 116 days. Of course, you can flip that. Did that for you. Show you here. Hey, flip that once and twice, and you get your 9/11. Well, there that is. So a couple of different 9/11 connections. You also have a couple of 33 connections. I won't take the time to show you. You can look these up if you want. But you have the Boston Marathon bombing. Got exactly 3 years and 3 months from 7/16 to that April 15th bombing. Remember that whole circus went from the 15th to I think the 19th. So you're exactly 3 years, 3 months from that event. You also have the 33 weeks from that Planned Parenthood shooting back last November, I believe. 33 weeks on the nose. You have, again, I said the Boston Marathon bombing. That numerology can also be stated as 1188, as in 1188 days. The Planned Parenthood shooting can also be stated as 232 days. Again, another 322 if you rearrange those. Now, there's been a couple more of these July 16th events. This wouldn't be the first. We got the 17th anniversary of the JFK Jr. plane crash. Died in an airplane when he was piloting, crashed into the Atlantic Ocean on July 16th, 1999. Now, more recently, you had the Chattanooga, the military base, Mohammed Yusuf Abda, I'm not even going to try, opened fire on 2 military installations in Chattanooga, Tennessee, July 16th, 2015. So what's really interesting about this one, there's 52 weeks before our Together event, Mohammed Yusuf, September 5th, 1990, his birthday. He was 24 years old, so in 52 days he was going to be 25 years old, technically 51, but 52 days he would be his first day of being 25 years old. 52, 25, 52 weeks before Together. And you also have this interesting map. Yet this is the Navy base where he was shot dead. This is the Capitol right at the foot of the National Mall where Together is taking place. 525 miles right there. So you have 52 forwards and backwards on that one. It's another coincidence, I'm sure. Now we have the 7-7 date, or 777 date, of course. Wouldn't be complete without another 777 connection. We have that in the form of this Bo Bergdahl event. Bo Bergdahl, American soldier, freed by Taliban in prisoner trade. Lone American prisoner of war from the Afghan conflict. Captured 5 years ago by insurgents and released to American forces in exchange for 5 Taliban detainees at Guantanamo Bay. So you have this whole circus. Just another show put on in the Bible, 187 places, Revelation alone. Of course, they love to quote from Revelation. They love to pull these things from the book of Revelation. Revelation alone has 22 occurrences of the number, meaning 12, which is considered a perfect number, so it symbolizes God's power and authority, as well as serving as a perfect governmental foundation. It can also symbolize completeness or the nation of Israel as a whole. So, see the number 12 everywhere. Now, if the number 12 doesn't float your boat, we can also state this date another way. We'll show you that. So, here's our 7/16/2016. So 12's not for everybody. How about 33/33? There you go. There's your 3/22/2013. 33/33 from 3/22, where Obama desecrates the birthplace of Jesus Christ, and the movie depicting the terrorist attack on Washington, D.C. is released in theaters. Courtesy of your Freemasons. top that one, but we got a couple more. Let's go through quickly. You got this, 110 days exactly from this incident. Capitol shooting. This man goes on a little rampage through the U.S. Capitol, right where this is going to be taking place here. 7/16, U.S. Capitol. Police shot a Tennessee man after he pulled out what appeared to be a weapon at the Capitol Center. Female bystander injured by shrapnel. Assault with a deadly weapon. Now here's where it gets interesting. Dawson was arrested on a charge of assaulting a police officer in October after an outburst in the chamber of the House of Representatives. Court documents from that 2015 incident describe Dawson as a 66-year-old man from Tennessee. In that incident, the documents state Dawson loudly stated to Congress that he was a prophet of God. So you have this prophet of God attacking the Capitol 110 days before you're gathering here at the Capitol. Now 110, you got gematria with Osama bin Laden, Adolf Hitler, Rockefeller, the word president. You know, the World Trade Center towers were 110 stories tall, built like giant 11s. The Charleston church shooting occurred at 110 Calhoun Street, in case you didn't think that meant anything as far as Calhoun. You have 322, 444, and then your 74, which is a big number for these guys. Jesus and Lucifer, Muhammad, Messiah, London, Cross, Masonic, English, Jewish, all of them. So 110 ties into that, with the prophet of God attacking the Capitol. Of course, 74 is going to come into play here as well, with the Copenhagen shootings, exactly 74 weeks. You can go and check all these calculations if you want. Trust me, I've already done that. Exactly 74 weeks from this Jesus event, you have the Copenhagen shootings. Terrorist attack. Omar Abdel Hamid al-Hussein. Jesus Christ again, 74 name numerology. Jesus, so that's all about Jesus. And he's said to have died at age 33. Who knows, but he's said to have died at age 33. Now, there's a reason why the Declaration of Independence was signed on 7/4 by a bunch of these 33rd degree Masons. Now we have 70 weeks in prophecy come up a lot. So we have exactly 70 weeks from this once in a century Pi Day. Now we know numerology, the pi is very symbolic, bring things full circle. We have exactly 70 weeks from this pi. It only happens once in a century. Dreamed up 27 years ago, celebrate 3/14, the only year until 2115 that you can turn up the dial to the max, where all these numbers match up the first 10 digits of pi. Then you have another pi connection with the San Bernardino shooting. 7/16 is exactly 227 days from the San Bernardino event. I'm just going to call all these things event because, you know, most of them most likely aren't real. But the event of San Bernardino, 227, 22 divided by 7 is 314, so that's the pi number. Again, 227, another important number in historical context. That was the missing number of passengers on that MH370 plane. And then you have important political events. You have the assassination, or the attempted assassination of Reagan occurred at 2:27 p.m. Abraham Lincoln died at 7:22, or 2:27 in reverse. The car that JFK was following had the license plate beginning with 2:27 when he was killed. So there's your 227 with the San Bernardino event together. So, I'm just going to give you one more. We got to go back, way back for this one. 800 years back. So, July 16th, 2016. Or 1216, I'm not. Yeah. Pope Innocent III died July 16th, 1216. The 800-year anniversary of our Jesus gathering. The most significant pope of the Middle Ages. Mind you, the Middle Ages is a period of about 1,000 years long, from 500 AD to 1500. So to call this the most significant pope from Encyclopedia Britannica, well, this was no ordinary pope. Worked tirelessly to launch the Crusades to recover the Holy Land, combated heresy in Italy and southern France, shaped powerful and original doctrine of papal power within the church and in secular affairs. Of course, it wasn't all good. You have the massacre at Béziers, Béziers. First major military action of Albigensian Crusade, where Pope Innocent had declared a crusade to eliminate Catharism. And this famous quote, they discovered the emissions. Some of them were Catholics mingled with heretics. They said, "Sir, what shall we do? For we cannot distinguish between the faithful and the heretics." The abbot, like others, was afraid that many, in fear of death, would pretend to be Catholics, and after their departure would return to their heresy. And is said to have replied, well, I can't read that, but the translation, kill them all, for the Lord knoweth them that are his. Kill them all. So countless number in that town were slain. Of course, kill them all. Sounds a bit like their slogan here on the 800th anniversary, Pope Innocent III's passing. Of course, he had a few other interesting quotes.
I did want to say their slogan on the Together website is not kill them all, but fill the mall.
Pope Innocent. We may, according to the fullness of our power, dispose of the law and dispense above the law those whom the Pope of Rome doth separate. It is not a man that separates them, but God, for the Pope holdeth place on earth, not simply of a man, but of the true God. And then anyone who attempts to construe a personal view of God which conflicts with the church dogma must be burned without pity. Now, with all this talk of disposing of the law, those you wouldn't think that he would be the model of law, but we have this marble portrait in the House of Representatives of the only 23 historical figures venerated in the House of Representatives. Mr. Pope Innocent made the cut. A student of canon and civil law, yes, a student of the law. The 23 marble relief portraits over the gallery doors of the House of Chamber in the U.S. Capitol depict historical figures noted for their work in establishing the principles that underlie American law. They were installed when the chamber was remodeled in 1950. Now, if you want to know the principles that underlie American law, well, just read this quote from the horse's mouth. Again, 800 years of death, this man, for our Jesus gathering. Of course, the Islam faith, no fan of Pope Innocent. July 16th, 1216, Innocent, most powerfully politicized pope of the Catholic sect of Christianity. Again, the Middle Ages, this was the most powerful pope ever. Most hostile towards Muslims and Jews. Earlier, he had ordered a crusade involving Christian mercenaries against the Muslim rulers of Islamic Spain that resulted in the unmanly ambush of Las Navas de Tolosa and huge massacre of civilians in 1212. There's your 1212 again, incidentally on July 16th. So, you also have Obama causing a stir. Now, anytime Obama says something in all of these ABC, NBC, all these mainstream media, you pick it up, they want you to see it. Now, historians weigh on Obama's comparison of ISIS militants to the medieval Christian crusaders. Of course, Innocent III launched the Crusades. Through Obama's remarks comparing ISIS militants to medieval Christian crusaders ignited a firestorm of criticism. Lest we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place. Remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, now those are Innocent's Crusades, and Innocent's... Remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ. Now this is Innocent's Crusades, Innocent's Inquisition he's referring to.
Airstrike in northern Syria went
Just
over
get out of this.
family, raising the
More lies. So we have this event taking place in the National Mall. Right here again, Pope Innocent venerated in these halls. In the National Mall, you got the phallic symbol of Osiris. And you get the owl. You get Osiris and the owl. Now, what is the owl? Now, a lot of people want to tell you that this owl is Moloch, and that's based off of some stuff that Alex Jones put together, which should tell you something. Of course, you get the owl. That is an owl. But it is not Moloch. This owl is representative of Lilith. Amongst others, Lilith. In the 1930s, scholars identified the voluptuous woman on this plaque as the Babylonian demoness Lilith. So today, the figure is generally identified as the goddess of love and war, known as Inanna to the Sumerians and Ishtar to the later Akkadians. This night creature makes one appearance in the Bible in Isaiah 34, which enumerates the fierce denizens of the desert wilderness, hyenas, goat demons, and the Lilith. In the King James Version, Lilith is translated to screech owl, apparently alluding to the demon's night flights in search of prey. Of course, who is Lilith. She's not just Lilith. There are other representations as well. You see here some contemporary concepts. Lilith is viewed as the embodiment of a goddess, designation that is thought to be shared with what these faiths believe to be her counterparts: Inanna, Ishtar, Asherah, Anath, and Isis. According to one view, Lilith was originally a Sumerian, Babylonian, or Hebrew mother goddess of childbirth, children, woman, and sexuality, who later became demonized due to the rise of patriarchy. Yeah, okay. Other modern views hold that Lilith is a dark moon goddess, on par with the Hindu Kali. Remember, we had that Kali projection on the Empire State Building, donning the French flag before the Paris event. So, the owl is Lilith, who is Isis, who is Kali. And of course, you have the phallic symbol of Osiris. In between Osiris and Isis, we will be gathering all of these young people here in the National Mall. Of course, on the 800th anniversary of Pope Innocent killing over 20,000 heretics.
Okay, there's only a minute left. I think I got the main point across. What I did want to say is that's one place I won't be on July 16th. See you tomorrow on the Investigative Journal.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. That's crosstheborder.org.
I know you all want answers, and believe me, so do I, and I'll do my best to get them.
Despite Nicolas Cage's promise to do his best to get left behind rapture answers for us, don't hold your breath. Not everyone believes Left Behind is true prophecy. Some may even regard as conspiratorial the mainstream re-release of the Left Behind movie, with actor Nicolas Cage portraying the main character, as an attempt to further reinforce in the minds of all this perception of false prophecy, in order to condition the masses for the play about to begin. If you want true Bible prophecy answers, get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. The author exposes the Latin rapture origin, the 7-year tribulation deception, true Bible revelation of Daniel's 70 weeks, the abomination of desolation, the restrainer, America in the Revelation, the image of the beast and the mark of the beast, and the truth about God's chosen people, and so much more about Bible prophecy. This book will shatter the Left Behind paradigm of future events. Get the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of the book, The Rapture Will Be Canceled. That's crosstheborder.org.